The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was quiet. Too quiet. Admiral Lee Daho stood behind the glass wall watching the trial below. His hands were tight fists behind his back. Today would change everything for Earth and all humans. Dr. Park Mi-young walked to the center of the massive room. Her blue diplomatic uniform looked small against the huge alien judges sitting above her. The Council of 12 ruled the galaxy from their crystal city on Nexus Prime. For 50 years, Earth had been their smallest member. Always told what to do, always treated like children. The lead judge was a tall crystal being called Veltar. His voice echoed through the hall like breaking glass. Dr. Park Mi-young of Earth, your species stands accused of dangerous expansion. You have built too many ships. You have spread too fast across the stars. This threatens the peace we have kept for 1,000 years. Dr. Park lifted her chin. She had practiced this speech many times. Honored Council, humans have only done what you allowed. We explored empty systems. We built colonies on dead worlds. We never attacked anyone. We followed every law you gave us. The insect-like judge clicked his mandibles. You call it following laws. We call it preparing for war. Your military grows stronger each year. Your technology advances too quickly. This is not the human way we approved 50 years ago. Admiral Lee Daho watched his friend try to save their species, but he knew the truth. This trial was just for show. The Council had already decided. Earth was growing too strong, too fast. The aliens were afraid. Captain Kim Soo-jin stood next to the Admiral. She commanded Earth's newest warship, the Titan. Her face was calm, but her eyes were angry. They planned this from the beginning, she whispered. They never wanted us to succeed. Engineer Choi Hee-rim was also watching. She had designed the new fusion drives that made human ships faster than any Council vessel. Her hands shook as she held her datapad. All her work, all her dreams of exploring the galaxy might end today. The gas cloud judge floated higher. His voice was like wind through caves. Earth's population has tripled since joining the Council. Your industrial output exceeds many older members. Your ships carry weapons that rival our own. This was not the agreement. Dr. Park stepped forward. We grew because we had to. Humans need room to live, to work, to dream. We built weapons because space is dangerous. Pirates attack our trade ships. Wild animals threaten our colonies. We protect ourselves, nothing more. But the Crystal Judge was not listening. The Council has discussed this matter for many cycles. Earth's rapid growth threatens the stability our civilization requires. Your species shows dangerous independence. You question our decisions. You suggest changes to laws that have worked for centuries. Admiral Lee Daho smiled grimly. The aliens were right about one thing. Humans did question everything. It was their nature. When the Council said something was impossible, humans found a way to do it anyway. When they were told to stay in their assigned space, humans looked at the empty systems beyond and wondered why they could not go there. The trial continued for 3 hours. Dr. Park presented every argument she could think of. She showed how human colonies helped feed Council worlds. She explained how human technology had solved problems that had troubled alien scientists for decades. She reminded them how human doctors had saved entire species from plague just 5 years ago. None of it mattered. Commander Bae Young-soo sat in the back of the viewing area. He ran Earth's intelligence network, and his spies had been watching the Council for months. He knew what was coming. 3 Council species were having problems with their own people. Resources were running low on many worlds. Some alien civilizations were talking about leaving the Council entirely. The aliens needed someone to blame for their troubles. Humans were perfect. They were new, different, and successful. It was easier to exile Earth than fix their own problems. The 12 judges talked among themselves for an hour. Their alien languages mixed together in a sound like machinery breaking down. Finally, the Crystal Judge stood up. The hall became completely silent. The Council of 12 has reached its decision, Veltar announced. Earth is found guilty of excessive expansion and technological contamination. As punishment, all human presence must withdraw from Council space within 72 standard cycles. Any human vessels or colonies found beyond your home system after this time will be destroyed. Dr. Park's face went white. You cannot do this. We have done nothing wrong. Our colonies have millions of people. Our trade agreements feed entire worlds. You cannot just erase 50 years of cooperation. The decision is final, the insect judge clicked. Earth is banished from the Council. You will return to your system and remain there. Any attempt to expand beyond those boundaries will be considered an act of war. Admiral Lee Dae-ho turned away from the window. He had heard enough. Captain Kim Soo-jin followed him out of the building. Engineer Choi Hee-rim was crying, but she walked with them. Commander Bae Young-soo joined them in the hallway. So it begins, the Admiral said quietly. They think they have won. They think sending us home will end the threat we represent. What do we do now? Captain Kim asked. Admiral Lee Dae-ho looked at his officers. These were some of the best humans in the galaxy. Smart, brave, and angry. We go home. We gather our people, and then we show the Council what humans can really do when they stop playing by someone else's rules. Engineer Choi Hee-rim wiped her tears away. The new drives are ready. The weapon systems work better than we hoped. If they want us gone, we can be gone faster than they expect. Commander Bae Young-soo smiled for the first time in days. My people have found things in the outer systems. Ancient ruins. Technology that makes Council ships look like toys. We just need time to study it. The Admiral nodded. Time we will have. The Council thinks banishing us will make us weak. They are about to learn that humans are most dangerous when they have nothing left to lose. As Earth's delegation left Nexus Prime, none of the aliens watching understood what they had just done. They had not eliminated a threat. They had created one. In trying to keep humans weak, they had forced them to become strong. In pushing them away, they had given them freedom to grow without limits. The galaxy was about to change forever, and it would be humans who changed it. 6 months had passed since the trial. Earth was no longer the same world that had joined the Galactic Council 50 years ago. Every human colony was working day and night to prepare for what Admiral Lee Dae-ho called the Great Journey. Dr. Lim Jae-sung stood in his laboratory deep under the surface of Luna. Around him, the most advanced engines ever built by human hands were taking shape. The quantum tunnel drives were his life's work. They could move ships faster and farther than anything the Council had ever seen. Show me the test results again, Admiral Lee Dae-ho said as he entered the lab. The old soldier looked tired. Leading 3 billion humans into exile was not easy work. Dr. Lim touched his control panel. A hologram appeared showing 2 ships racing through space. The Council's fastest courier can travel 100 light-years in 10 days. Our new drives can do the same distance in 2 days. They will never catch us once we start moving. Engineer Choi Hee-rim walked over to join them. In 6 months, she had designed an entire fleet of new ships. The Titan-class vessels were massive. Each one could carry 50,000 people and enough supplies for years. More importantly, each one carried weapons that could destroy entire Council fleets. How many ships are ready? The Admiral asked. 847, Choi Hee-rim answered. Every human world contributed. Every factory worked without stopping. We will move 3 million people in the first wave. The rest will follow in smaller groups. Admiral Lee Dae-ho nodded. The plan was simple but dangerous. Instead of staying trapped in Earth's system, they would leave entirely. The outer spiral arm of the galaxy was unexplored territory. The Council called it dead space because their scouts found no valuable resources there. That made it perfect for humans. Captain Kim Soo-jin entered the lab carrying a datapad. Her ship, the Titan, would lead the first expedition fleet. Commander Bae has news from his spies, she said. The Council is having serious problems. The Admiral smiled grimly. Tell me. 3 member species are fighting civil wars. The crystal beings are running out of energy sources for their cities. The gas cloud people cannot find enough rare metals for their technology. The insect worlds are overpopulated and running out of food. Dr. Lim Jae-sung looked surprised. But the Council has ruled the galaxy for 1,000 years. How can they have these problems? Because they stopped growing, Admiral Lee Dae-ho explained. They made laws to keep everything the same. No new ideas. No expansion, no change. They thought this would bring peace, but it only brought stagnation. Engineer Choi Hee-rim understood. That is why they feared us. Humans never stop changing, never stop growing. We represented everything they had given up. Commander Bae Young-soo arrived with more urgent news. His intelligence network had been busy since the trial. Admiral, my scouts have found something incredible in the dead space. Ancient ruins on dozens of worlds. The technology is far beyond anything the Council possesses. He activated a holographic display. Images of massive structures appeared in the air. Cities that floated in space without any visible support. Machines that could build entire worlds. Weapons that could move stars. Who built these? Captain Kim asked. We call them the architects, Commander Bay replied. They disappeared millions of years ago, but their machines still work. The Council knows about them but cannot understand the technology. They declared the regions forbidden to prevent anyone from gaining access. Admiral Lee Dae-ho studied the images carefully, but they cannot stop us if we are already exiled from their territory. Dr. Lim Jae-sung was excited. If we could understand even part of this technology, we would become more advanced than the Council overnight. That is exactly what we will do, the Admiral decided. Commander Bay, I want your best people studying these ruins. Dr. Lim, I want drives ready for 1,000 ships within the year. Engineer Choi, design colony ships that can become cities. We are not just leaving Council space. We are going to build something better. The work intensified. General Yoon Sang-ho trained the new colonial marines. These soldiers were different from Earth's old military. They were designed to fight on any world, in any environment, against any enemy. Every marine carried weapons powered by fusion cells. Their armor could survive in the vacuum of space or the deepest ocean. Dr. Park Mi-young worked with alien refugees who had fled Council space. She discovered that many species were unhappy with the Council's rule. They wanted the freedom to explore, to trade, to grow. Some even offered to help the human exodus. The Harani were traders from the rim worlds. Their ships were fast and carried valuable goods. The Corvellians were engineers who built orbital habitats. The Elthari were peaceful farmers who could grow food on any world. All of them had been restricted by Council laws that prevented innovation. They will make good allies, Dr. Park told the Admiral. They understand what we are trying to do because they want the same things. On the day of departure, Admiral Lee Dae-ho stood on the bridge of the command ship Indomitable. Through the massive viewing window, he could see hundreds of ships stretching away into space. Humanity's future was loaded into those vessels. Children, scientists, farmers, soldiers, dreamers. Everyone who believed that exile was just another word for freedom. All ships report ready, Captain Kim announced from her position at the communications station. Begin the jump sequence, the Admiral ordered. Dr. Lim Jae-sung activated the quantum tunnel drives. Space itself seemed to fold around the fleet. In moments that felt like hours, they crossed distances that would have taken Council ships years to travel. When the stars stopped moving, they found themselves in completely unknown space. No Council patrols, no restrictions, no one to tell them where they could go or what they could do. Sensors detect 17 star systems within range, reported the navigation officer. All appear to have habitable worlds. No signs of Council activity. Admiral Lee Dae-ho smiled. For the first time since the trial, he felt hope. Begin the survey. Find the best worlds for our first colonies, and send scouts to locate those architect ruins. We have work to do. Engineer Choi Hee-rim was already planning the first city. It would be built on the largest moon of a gas giant. The location would provide unlimited energy and rare materials. More importantly, it would be completely hidden from Council scouts. As the human fleet spread out across the new systems, the Admiral made a promise to himself. The Council had banished them to keep them weak. Instead, they had given them the freedom to become strong. When humans returned to known space, they would not come as exiles begging for acceptance. They would come as equals demanding respect. The great journey had begun, and it would end with humanity ruling the stars. 5 years had passed since the human exodus began. What started as exile had become the greatest expansion in galactic history. Admiral Lee Dae-ho stood on the observation deck of New Terra, humanity's first mobile space city. Through the massive windows, he could see 47 human worlds spread across dozens of star systems. Governor Oh Kyung-soo walked up beside him carrying a report pad. She had transformed from a colonial administrator into the architect of human civilization. The latest numbers, Admiral. Our population has grown to 15 million across all colonies. Agricultural output exceeds our needs by 30%. Industrial capacity has tripled in the last year alone. The Admiral smiled as he watched construction ships building another orbital habitat. And the architect ruins? Dr. Shin Yoon-young has made incredible progress, the governor replied. Her team has activated 17 different sites. The technology we have recovered makes our ships look primitive. Dr. Shin Yoon-young had become humanity's leading expert on architect technology. Her laboratory on Research Station Alpha contained artifacts that defied every known law of physics. Matter converters that could turn asteroid rock into perfect metal alloys, energy collectors that drew power directly from quantum fluctuations in space, communication networks that allowed instant contact across unlimited distances. Captain Kim Soo-jin, now promoted to Commodore, commanded the sword fleets. These were the new human armadas that protected the growing empire. Each fleet contained 50 ships built with combined human engineering and architect technology. A single human vessel could now destroy entire council battle groups. The patrol reports are encouraging, Commodore Kim told the Admiral during their weekly briefing. We have made contact with 18 indigenous species in the Outer Rim. 15 have requested alliance agreements. Only 3 chose to remain neutral. The human approach to first contact was completely different from the council method. Instead of demanding submission, humans offered partnership. Instead of imposing restrictions, they shared technology and knowledge. The results spoke for themselves. The Harani traders had become humanity's closest allies. Their fast ships carried human goods to the farthest reaches of known space. In return, they provided rare materials and information about council activities. Trade Captain Velmak had told Commodore Kim that human products were becoming more popular than council goods throughout the galaxy. The Corvellian engineers had joined human construction projects. Their expertise in building orbital habitats combined with human innovation to create cities in space that surpassed anything in council territory. Engineer Prime Dorval worked directly with engineer Choi Hee-rim to design the next generation of human ships. The peaceful Yothari had solved humanity's food problems forever. Their farming techniques could grow crops on worlds that council scientists considered barren wasteland. Agricultural supervisor Yental had taught human farmers how to terraform entire planets in just a few years. But the most important discovery came from Dr. Lim Jae-sung's continued research into quantum tunnel drives. His new engines could move ships across the galaxy in weeks instead of years. More significantly, they allowed humans to travel to places the Council considered impossible to reach. Admiral Nam Ji-woo commanded the 2nd Expeditionary Force, tasked with exploring the galactic core regions. Her ships had discovered that the architects had built a vast network of installations throughout the galaxy. Most were hidden or disguised to look like natural phenomena. The Council had been using architect technology for centuries without realizing it. They built their entire civilization on the ruins of something greater. Dr. Shin Yun-young explained during a research briefing. Every major Council technology can be traced back to architect designs. Their faster-than-light drives, their energy weapons, their planetary shields. All of it is crude copies of architect originals. This revelation changed everything. The Council was not the galaxy's master civilization. They were scavengers who had found advanced technology and claimed it as their own. The real builders of galactic civilization had disappeared long ago, leaving behind tools that the Council barely understood. Commander Bae Young-soo's intelligence network had grown to cover most of known space. His spies reported that Council authority was collapsing. 6 member species had declared independence in the last year. Trade routes were disrupted by piracy and civil wars. Several Council worlds had requested humanitarian aid from human colonies. They are desperate, Commander Bae reported. The crystal beings have started rationing energy because their power sources are failing. The gas cloud people are strip mining their own worlds for rare metals. The insect civilizations are talking about invading neighboring systems to find new food sources. Admiral Lee Dae-ho realized that the galaxy was changing faster than anyone expected. The stable order that the Council had maintained for 1,000 years was breaking apart. New powers were rising while old ones fell into decline. Engineer Choi Hye-rim had completed her greatest project, the construction of New Terra as a mobile capital. The massive space habitat was more than a city. It was a statement of human engineering capability. The structure was 40 kilometers long and could house 2 million people. More importantly, it could travel between star systems using the largest quantum tunnel drive ever built. We are no longer refugees, Engineer Choi announced at the completion ceremony. We are the builders of a new kind of civilization. One based on growth instead of stagnation, cooperation instead of domination, innovation instead of tradition. The ceremony was attended by representatives from 23 allied species. They came not as subjects, but as equal partners in humanity's growing federation. The contrast with Council practices was obvious to everyone present. Dr. Park Mi-young had become humanity's foreign minister. Her diplomatic corps was establishing formal relations with species throughout the galaxy. The message was always the same. Join the Human Federation and gain access to advanced technology, unlimited expansion rights, and true equality among the stars. 17 species have submitted formal alliance requests this month, Dr. Park reported. 3 are former council members who left after the restrictions became unbearable. The others are independent civilizations who want protection from council retaliation. General Yoon Sang-ho's colonial marines had evolved into the finest military force in the galaxy.
Each soldier carried weapons powered by architect energy cells.
Their armor incorporated force field generators and quantum computers. A single Marine squad could defeat an entire council regiment, but the Marines were not conquerors. They were protectors and liberators. When council forces attacked independent worlds, human Marines arrived to drive them back. When pirates threatened trade routes, human fleets restored order. When natural disasters struck inhabited planets, human rescue ships provided immediate aid. The galaxy was learning that humans offered something the council never could: genuine help without demands for submission in return. Every successful mission brought new allies to the human cause. Every display of superior technology demonstrated that the old order was ending. Admiral Lee Dae-ho called a meeting of all senior commanders aboard New Terra. The mobile capital had just completed its first intergalactic jump, positioning itself at the edge of council space. From here, they could monitor council activities while remaining safely out of reach. The time for hiding is over, the Admiral announced. Our civilization is stronger than the council in every way that matters. Our technology is superior. Our economy is growing while theirs collapses. Our allies outnumber their remaining members. Most importantly, our people are united while theirs are divided. Commodore Kim Soo-jin stood up. What are you proposing, Admiral? The council banished us to preserve their dying system, Admiral Lee Dae-ho replied. They thought exile would make us disappear. Instead, it made us stronger. Now it is time to return and show them what humanity has become. The room was silent as everyone understood the implications. They were no longer talking about survival or expansion. They were planning to replace the Galactic Council entirely. The emergency session of the Galactic Council was unlike any in their 1,000-year history. Council Prime Adjudicator Veltar stood before the remaining 8 member species, his crystal body dim with worry. The great hall that once held 12 proud civilizations now felt empty and defeated. The situation is beyond critical, Veltar announced. Human forces have been detected throughout the Outer Rim. Their technology exceeds our own by decades, possibly centuries. 6 former member species have formally joined what they call the Terran Federation. Trade routes throughout the galaxy now carry human goods instead of ours. The insect judge clicked his mandibles nervously. How is this possible? We banished them only 5 years ago. They were primitives with crude ships and basic weapons. Intelligence Director Zektar activated a holographic display. Images filled the air showing massive human ships, orbital cities, and planets transformed from barren rock into garden worlds. Our scouts report that humans have established colonies in 47 star systems. Their population has grown to over 15 million. Most disturbing, they have clearly accessed architect technology on a scale we never believed possible. The gas cloud representative floated higher, his form shifting with agitation. The architects were a myth. Ancient stories to explain ruins we could not understand. No longer, Zektar replied grimly. Human ships demonstrate capabilities that can only come from fully operational architect installations. Quantum tunnel drives that surpass our fastest vessels. Energy weapons that could shatter our battle stations. Matter conversion technology that makes resource scarcity impossible. Admiral Lee Dae-ho received this intelligence report while standing on the bridge of the Indomitable. Commander Bae Young-soo's spy network had penetrated the council so thoroughly that humans often knew about decisions before they were officially announced. They are finally taking us seriously, the Admiral observed. Fear makes them dangerous, but it also makes them predictable. Commodore Kim Soo-jin studied the tactical displays. Should we accelerate our timeline? Strike before they can organize a response? No, Admiral Lee Dae-ho replied. Let them see what is coming. Fear will divide them more effectively than any weapon we possess. The human strategy was unlike anything the Council had faced before. Instead of hiding their strength, humans displayed it openly. Federation fleets appeared at the edges of Council space. not attacking but making their presence unmistakably clear. Human diplomats visited independent worlds, offering alliance agreements that were far more generous than anything the Council provided. Governor Oh Kyung-soo announced the Open Worlds Initiative to the entire galaxy. Any species, any colony, any individual who wished to join the Terran Federation would be welcomed with full citizenship rights and immediate access to advanced technology. The contrast with the Council's rigid hierarchy was devastating. "We offer what they never could," Governor Oh broadcast. "True equality among the stars. The freedom to grow, to explore, to become everything your species can achieve. Join us and help build a galaxy where cooperation replaces domination." The response was immediate and overwhelming. Former Council colonies sent delegation ships to human space. Independent civilizations that had never been allowed to join the Council requested Federation membership. Even some core Council worlds began secret negotiations with human representatives. Dr. Park Mi-young established diplomatic offices throughout the galaxy. Her message was simple but powerful. The Galactic Council represented the past, but the Terran Federation represented the future. Every species that joined gained access to technologies that solved their greatest problems. Energy shortages, resource conflicts, territorial disputes, all became manageable with human assistance. The Harani Trade Federation brought 37 member species into the human alliance. The Corvellian Engineering Guild shared construction techniques that allowed rapid expansion. The Yelthari Agricultural Collective provided farming knowledge that could feed entire civilizations. Each new ally brought others, creating a cascade effect that the Council could not stop. Council attempts to maintain control only accelerated their decline. When they declared martial law in contested systems, human rescue fleets arrived to evacuate refugee populations. When they tried to block trade routes, human ships provided alternate pathways that were faster and more efficient. When they threatened military action against defecting worlds, human battle groups moved into defensive positions. Admiral Nam Ji-woo positioned the Federation's main fleets at strategic points around Council space. The 2nd, 3rd, and 4th expeditionary forces formed a protective barrier around human territory while demonstrating overwhelming superiority to any Council forces that came near. A single human dreadnought carries more firepower than an entire Council battle fleet. Admiral Nam reported during a strategic briefing, "Our ships are faster, better armed, and protected by energy shields they cannot penetrate. If they force a military confrontation, it will be over in hours, not days." But Admiral Lee Dae-ho preferred psychological warfare to direct confrontation. Every human action was calculated to demonstrate the Federation's superiority, while highlighting the Council's weaknesses. When Council worlds suffered natural disasters, human aid ships arrived before Council relief efforts could be organized. When pirates attacked Council trade routes, human patrol ships restored order faster and more effectively than Council security forces. Dr. Shin Yoon-young's research teams made another breakthrough that changed the strategic balance entirely. Deep in the galactic core, they discovered the Architect Central Command, a massive installation that controlled the ancient network spanning the entire galaxy. When activated, it revealed the true scope of Architect civilization. "They built everything," Dr. Shin announced to the Federation leadership. "Every habitable world in the galaxy shows signs of Architect terraforming. Every major trade route follows paths they established. The quantum tunnel network we use for communication was their creation. The Council has been living in their shadow for centuries without realizing it." More importantly, the Central Command responded to human operators in ways it never had for the Council. Architect technology seemed designed to work with species that demonstrated creativity, adaptability, and growth, exactly the qualities that made humans unique. Engineer Choi Hae-rim integrated Architect systems into human infrastructure on a massive scale. Orbital habitats grew larger and more complex. Planetary shields protected human worlds from any possible attack. Manufacturing facilities produced goods at rates that made scarcity impossible. The economic implications were staggering. Human colonies produced more advanced technology in a month than Council worlds could create in a year. Federation trade goods were superior in quality and lower in price than anything the Council offered. Independent merchants throughout the galaxy preferred human products because they worked better and lasted longer. Commander Bay, Youngsu's latest intelligence reports painted a picture of total Council collapse. 3 remaining member species are in open rebellion against Council authority. 2 others have recalled their representatives and closed their borders. Only 3 species still support the current government, and even they are negotiating secret deals with human merchants. The final blow came when Council Prime Adjudicator Veltar himself requested a meeting with Federation representatives. The message was transmitted through official diplomatic channels, acknowledging the Terran Federation as an equal sovereign power for the first time. Admiral Lee Daeho read the message aboard New Terra, surrounded by his senior staff. The mobile capital had moved to a position just outside the Nexus Prime system, close enough to demonstrate human capabilities but far enough to avoid any appearance of threat. "He wants to negotiate," Dr. Park Mi-young observed. "After 5 years of treating us as criminals, they finally want to talk. What are your orders?" Commodore Kim asked. Admiral Lee Daeho smiled. "We accept, of course, but we go as equals, not supplicants. It is time for the galaxy to see which civilization truly deserves to lead." The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the future of galactic civilization. On one side stood the Galactic Council, representatives of ancient traditions and dying systems. On the other stood the Terran Federation, embodying growth, innovation, and cooperation. The outcome was no longer in doubt. The only question was whether the transition would be peaceful, or whether the Council would choose to fight a war they could not possibly win. The Indomitable appeared above Nexus Prime like a metal moon. The massive human dreadnought dwarfed every Council ship in orbit, its hull gleaming with energy shields that made it look like a captured star. Admiral Lee Daeho stood on the bridge watching the crystal city below through the viewing ports. "Transmission incoming from the planet's surface," reported Communications Officer Lee Jun-ho. "Council Prime Adjudicator Veltar requests permission to board for the meeting." The Admiral smiled. 5 years ago, humans had come to this world as accused criminals. Today, the galaxy's former rulers were asking permission to visit a human ship. Grant permission. Have them escorted to Conference Room Alpha. Dr. Shin Yun-young stood beside the Admiral, carrying a datapad filled with information that would change galactic history. "The quantum scans are complete. Every piece of technology on Nexus Prime is based on architect designs. They're faster than light communicators, their planetary shields, even their government buildings. They have been using our inheritance without knowing it." Engineer Choi Hye-rim monitored the ship's defensive systems. "All weapon batteries are powered down as agreed, but our shields remain at full strength. If this is a trap, they cannot harm us." Admiral Nam Ji-woo commanded the escort fleet positioned throughout the Nexus Prime system. Her ships were invisible to Council sensors, protected by cloaking fields derived from architect technology. If the meeting went badly, they could destroy every Council installation within minutes. The conference room was designed to impress. Holographic displays showed the scope of human expansion across the galaxy. Trade statistics demonstrated the Federation's economic dominance. Military reports highlighted technological superiority that made Council forces obsolete. Council Prime Adjudicator Veltar entered with only 2 advisors. The crystal being looked older than before, his normally bright form dim with stress. Intelligence Director Zektar accompanied him, along with Military Commander Korvan of the insect species. "Admiral Lee Daeho," Veltar began, his voice carefully controlled. "We meet again under very different circumstances." "Indeed," the Admiral replied. "When last we met, you banished humanity from your territory. Today you come to our ship requesting negotiations. How the galaxy has changed." Dr. Park Mi-young, now Federation Foreign Minister, activated the first holographic display. "Before we discuss terms, perhaps the Council should understand the current state of galactic affairs." The display showed a map of known space. Red areas marked remaining Council territory, now reduced to less than 50 systems. Blue regions showed Federation space covering over 400 worlds. Green zones indicated independent systems allied with humanity. Yellow marked neutral territories. "As you can see," Dr. Park continued, "the Galactic Council now controls less than 10% of inhabited space. The Terran Federation has become the dominant power in the galaxy, with over 70 allied species and a population exceeding 50 million sentient beings." Intelligence Director Zektar leaned forward. "How is this possible? 5 years ago, your species barely possessed faster than light travel. Dr. Shin Yun-young stood up, activating another display. Because we discovered what you never could. The true nature of architect technology. Images of the Central Command filled the air, showing massive installations that dwarfed anything the Council had ever built. The architects did not disappear, she explained. They evolved beyond physical existence, leaving behind tools for species capable of growth and adaptation. Your civilization stopped growing centuries ago. You created laws to prevent change, to maintain stability, to preserve tradition. The architect systems responded by remaining dormant. Military Commander Korvan clicked his mandibles angrily. You claim the ancient technology chooses who can use it? We do not claim, Engineer Choi Hyerim replied. We demonstrate. She touched her control pad and every piece of equipment in the room activated simultaneously. Lights brightened, displays became clearer, even the air circulation improved. Architect technology recognizes species that embody their values. Innovation, cooperation, unlimited growth. Admiral Lee Dae-ho watched the Council representatives absorb this information. Fear, anger, and desperation warred across their alien features. They had built their entire civilization on stolen technology they never truly understood. What do you want? Feltar asked finally. Peace, the Admiral replied simply. The same thing humanity has always wanted. The freedom to explore, to grow, to build a better future for all sentient species. You could destroy us completely, Military Commander Korvan stated. Your ships outnumber ours. Your technology surpasses ours. Why negotiate instead of conquer? Dr. Park Mi-young answered. Because conquest creates enemies. Cooperation creates allies. The Terran Federation succeeds because we offer partnership, not domination. Every species that joins us does so voluntarily because they benefit from the arrangement. Governor Oh Kyung-soo appeared via holographic link from New Terra. The Open Worlds Initiative remains available to all Council species. Join the Federation and gain access to architect technology, unlimited expansion rights, and equality among the stars. Continue as you are, and face inevitable collapse. The negotiations continued for 6 hours. The Council representatives tried to bargain for favorable terms, special privileges, maintained authority over their core worlds. Each demand was politely but firmly refused. Commander Bae Young-soo provided regular intelligence updates. 3 more Council species had declared independence during the meeting. Their populations were already sending delegation ships toward human space. Time was running out for the old order. Finally, Admiral Lee Dae-ho made the Federation's final offer. The Galactic Council can dissolve peacefully and allow its members to join the Federation individually. In return, we guarantee safe passage to neutral territory for any species that prefers independence. Council leadership will be granted exile to the Rim worlds with sufficient resources for a comfortable life. And if we refuse? Feltar asked. Then you continue as you are until your civilization collapses entirely, the Admiral replied. We will not attack you, but we will not save you either. The galaxy has chosen its future. You can be part of it or be left behind. The meeting ended without resolution. The Council representatives returned to their world to debate among themselves. Admiral Lee Dae-ho knew the outcome was inevitable. Fear and pride might delay their decision, but logic would eventually prevail. 2 days later, Veltar sent his final message. The Galactic Council formally dissolved itself, acknowledging the Terran Federation as the legitimate government of known space. 3 species chose exile to the Rim worlds. 5 others requested immediate Federation membership. Commodore Kim Soo-jin led the peaceful occupation of Nexus Prime. There was no fighting, no resistance. Council security forces laid down their weapons and requested asylum. The Crystal City's population welcomed human administrators as liberators from a dying system. Dr. Lim Jae-sung established research stations throughout former Council space. Architect installations that had remained dormant for centuries activated at human touch. Ancient manufacturing facilities began producing advanced technology. Terraforming systems restored life to worlds that had been barren for millennia. Admiral Nam Ji-woo commanded the exploration fleets that pushed beyond the galactic rim. Early reports suggested the Milky Way was only one of many galaxies that contained architect installations. Humanity's expansion had only just begun. 10 years after banishment, Admiral Lee Dae-ho stood in the Grand Assembly of New Terra. Representatives from over 300 species filled the massive chamber. The Terran Federation had become exactly what its founders envisioned, a voluntary alliance of equals working together for mutual benefit. Today marks the beginning of a new age, the Admiral announced. No longer will fear and stagnation rule the galaxy. No longer will arbitrary restrictions limit what sentient beings can achieve. We go forward together, into a future limited only by our imagination and courage. The applause that followed could be heard throughout the mobile capital. On the viewing screens, Federation ships departed for distant galaxies, carrying the message that would soon echo across the universe. Humanity and its allies were coming. The Council had banished Earth to preserve their dying order. Instead, they had created the very force that would replace them. What began as punishment had become transformation. What was meant to weaken humanity had made them the rulers of the stars. In trying to stop human growth, the Council had only delayed it. In forcing humanity to leave, they had given them the freedom to become everything they were capable of becoming. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly what humanity had always intended.